Okay, the reason I want us to start out both looking at it is that I like people to read the essay aloud to me.
What?
Well, because, this is the first time I'm seeing a draft, and these conferences are only 15 minutes long. It's kind of your only shot to talk to me about it one-on-one, and I don't like for any time to be wasted. If I just sit here silently reading it while you sit there waiting, it doesn't feel like the most productive use of our time. But if you read it aloud while I follow along, it forces you to confront everything that's actually in there as opposed to what you think or imagine is in there. And you'll kind of be seeing it through my eyes because I'm sitting here. So it's sort of two birds with one stone.
Okay.
So, whenever you're ready.
Okay.
It's going to be okay.
When I was 12, I went with my family to Japan. I'm a third-generation American, by which I mean that my parents were born here and my grandparents, who were born in Japan, were immigrants. That trip when I was 12 was my first and only visit to the country of my ancestors. That's sort of the introduction.
You know what? Keep going. We'll talk about it when you're done.
Okay. While we were there, we visited the Hiroshima Museum, the museum that commemorates the victims of the atomic bomb that dropped on Hiroshima. The floor was marble, and it made echoing noises with people's footsteps. The exhibits were very sad, images of the devastation the bomb imposed on the city. As we walked around, the actual Japanese looked at us, and it was obvious that they knew that we were Americans. It was then that I realized that you can't judge a book by its cover. Later in the trip...
Okay, stop there for a second.
There's more.
No, I know. I skipped ahead a little and saw the next paragraph basically is another anecdote from this trip that also builds up to more, to another way of drawing the conclusion that you can't judge a book by its cover.
Right.
And your conclusion sums that up, kind
of? Sort of.
And is that your idea?
What?
Don't judge a book by its cover?
Yeah. Is it it's bad, isn't it? Look, I tried so hard to think of something, and that's all I could.
It's fine. I mean, this is your rough draft. This is what these conferences are for, okay?
Okay.
So, okay. Yeah. Don't judge a book by its cover is not an idea.
It's not.
No, it's a cliche.
Oh. Well, but...
What you really ought to do is just sort of allow for your idea to emerge sort of organically from the scenes of experience that you're, rendering in the essay.
Yeah, I really don't understand what that means.
Which part?
Like all of it? Like how I allow it to emerge? Or what you mean by organically? Or what you mean by idea? Or what you mean by scenes of experience? Or how this is an essay, really?
Okay.
Yeah, so it's been a little frustrating.
That's okay. Frustration is okay, especially on this first essay.
Okay.
But it's actually sort of the same as the essays you wrote in high school, only instead of making a claim about a particular book or like a historical figure, you're making a claim about life and your experience of the world. And that claim is your idea. And you need some kind of evidence for that idea, but you can't use quotations because you're not writing about a book. So instead of quotations, you use scenes of experience.
So my idea is wrong?
It's not, Eric, it's not wrong. You just haven't earned it.
So I should change the scene?
Well, no. I mean, first of all, it's supposed to be something that really happened, so you can't just change it. And anyway, you really don't want to change your whole essay just to earn that. It's not really worth earning. And anyway, real life is much more complicated than any, simple pat explanation we can put on it. So instead of changing the scene, flattening it, making it general until it fits some lazy, cliched non-idea, Just render the exact, unique, special details of your own experience and how you felt about it as accurately and as responsibly as possible, and then try to interpret that as completely and diligently as possible. And because life is so nuanced and complex, any idea you glean from a well-drawn scene of experience will be nuanced and complex too, okay?
Okay. I mean, do I have to come up with something
Oh,
like
no.
now?
I'm just saying that's the question. That's the question to start with. But let's try something right now. Yeah. Put the essay aside and describe to me, in your own words, not trying to sound smart or fit it into some neat box, just describe to me what it was like to be in that museum.
Well, it was weird and pretty sad. I mean, I started to think about what my life would have been like if my grandparents hadn't emigrated.
Mm-hmm.
My parents would have been on the wrong side of the war. I mean, other side. That's weird for me to say wrong side like that, because my grandparents spent some time in a camp, like one of those camps that they like put people in of Japanese and so it's just so clear how when a war starts to happen and where you as an individual person happen to be right then is what dictates everything.
Right.
I mean, whatever. You see my point, right? It's just such a total mess. So, how am I supposed to come up with an idea?
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, just wow.
Thank you.
You know, you have such an unfair advantage in a way, though.
What do you mean?
Well, you know, all those things I forbid, all the things
Sure,
people aren't allowed to write, is to get them to look farther back for their experiences, but you can't really get around the fact that they are so young and not that much has happened to them, you know? But you've already, Korea.
Yeah.
I knew we had bases there, but I didn't realize it was still so.
No, yeah, it is, but you
If
still
could just
got
be
it.
out on patrol, and shots would just, there's somebody on the other side.
Happen
just
all the time.
Wow. I mean, and you joined up right after high school.
Pretty much.
Huh. Do you mind if I ask why?
Nope. I wanted to. I mean, the money for college was a factor, sure, but if that had been the only thing, there were other things I could have done to save up or whatever. But I guess I had certain goals for how I wanted to be like shaped. And I thought it would, I guess, shape me.
Cool. So you're what, 23?
27.
Really?
Yeah, why?
No, I thought you said you were in the Marines 4 years.
No, yeah, I was. But I'm a senior. I put this class off to my last semester.
I thought they made everybody take it right away.
They sort of let me do whatever I wanted.
Oh. Huh.
What?
Just, you're practically as old as I am.
Oh.
Almost. Not quite. But yeah, don't tell the other kids. Students.
Right. No, I won't.
Might spark a revolt.
That ever happened before?
A revolt? Oh, every semester.
No, to have someone almost your age. Other times you taught this class.
Actually, there's this woman in the other section. I teach 15 kids each. She's older than I am, actually. Maybe in her 50s. But, you know, got married, had kids. They're all out of college now, so she's finally going.
Cool.
It is cool. She also probably has an unfair advantage on this essay.
Yeah. So, but, I mean, is there anything you want me to change?
Well, okay. And this isn't an accusation, but I've been doing this a while. And I have to say, the very last scene, it's a little
What?
convenient.
What do you mean?
There's this final scene when you're leaving, this description of you lifting off in the helicopter with the
Right.
sunset and everything, and this sort of I arrived here as a boy, but I'm leaving as a man sort of sentiment. And it just seems,
Yeah?
you know what I mean? Fits almost too well.
Yeah. I made it up.
I thought so.
I mean, really, they just, drove me to the airport in a car.
And you wanted to render it a little more
Right.
like it was the end of a movie or something.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I'm sure I've had at least a dozen students get things by me in these essays, but it doesn't really matter so long as it feels like something that really happened, something truthful, you know? So the problem is that I could tell.
Okay. See, that's funny because
What?
in my first draft, I thought about writing what actually happened right before I left, but I didn't for that exact reason.
What do you mean?
That it would seem like I made it up.
In my experience, if you...
A friend of mine shot himself.
Oh.
Yeah, and I found him.
My God, that's terrible. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry.
And he was, we were on guard duty, People taking turns, swapping in and out. And he didn't show up for his. So they sent me to look for him because they knew that we were friends. He was in the kitchen, in the back of he'd used a pillow to muffle there was blood and feathers everywhere. Feathers,
But you didn't want to...
I guess it just felt unfair. And like I'd be cheapening it to use it because it didn't happen to me. It happened to him, It's not my story. So to just take it and use it like that.
Right.
That didn't feel okay. And also, my essay is all about the opposite. That all the ways this experience was hard, sure, was ultimately like just so good for me. And I even remember thinking at the time, dude, we were here together this whole time. I was right there. You were right there. We did all the same things. How could this have been so different for you, so bad that you had to go and do that? But you're saying I could maybe put it in.
Well, if you think it would, like you said, dishonor your friend some way, then by all means, leave it out. But if you're just afraid it's going to complicate your idea, well, definitely put it in.
Okay.
But it's completely up to you. So, did it pay for college?
Oh, yeah. Partly. Why?
No, just good. That's good.
You want me to what?
Because it's like killing two birds. I can familiarize myself with it, and you're sort of forced to confront everything that's in there. Remind yourself before we get started talking about it.
I'd really rather not.
Everybody has to do it. If it makes you a little uncomfortable, that's okay. Just give it a shot.
All right. All right. The alleyway was dark red brick. The man pushed me into it, grabbing me roughly by the throat and forcing me against a wall. I fought and scratched as hard as I could, but my thin arms and small frame were no match for the towering, overpowering figure, and soon I gave in, just wanting it to be over. He tore away at me, stole my childhood and my innocence, this stranger, and I felt the deepest parts of myself ripped away. I was 13. I developed low self-esteem and developed a tendency towards abusive men. I dated Dale for 2 years. He hits me because he loves me, I would tell myself, or I make him do it. Or when it would happen, I would say I deserved it because I was bad. Like he told me, I always did what he told me. When he cheated on me with my best friend, I blamed myself for that too because I hadn't been good enough. After all, I couldn't be good enough. Now I suffer from bulimia.
Okay,
I eat enormous binges when I eat.
You can stop. You can stop.
Thank you.
Well, first of all, I mean, first things first. Are you seeing someone at UHC? Because
Yeah, no.
you must avail yourself of those resources. And if you're not, I will call their office with you right now to make you an appointment.
No, I am. I have a therapist there that I talk to every week.
Okay. Because for one thing, I can't be that for you. Somebody at the institution needs to know about this as a situation, someone qualified to evaluate it and keep track of you and, potentially have you take time off.
No, I know. I'm talking about it.
Which, I mean, that's good. That's definitely good.
Well, the main thing, for this is that I want it to be a good essay.
Okay. I mean, good, because that's my job here. Remember how I said sometimes for the personal essay, students have a tendency to write about certain things. So I said certain things were off limits.
Yeah. You said that we couldn't write about the breakup of our high school relationship.
Yeah, but...
And my breakup with Dale is in there, but
right,
it's not really...
I also...
You also said that we couldn't write about, the hard transition to college or being away from home for the first time.
Right.
And I didn't.
I also said that sometimes students have a tendency in the personal essay to sort of write about, the most traumatizing thing that's ever happened to them, or, just the worst experience they've ever had, and that's not...
Oh.
Yeah.
I think maybe I wasn't in class when you said that.
Maybe not.
Yeah, I was at Sick a Bunch last week.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Well, but why?
Well, okay. Essays like this are very difficult to grade. It creates a situation in which it's hard for me to be, dispassionate and evaluate it as a piece of writing. I almost feel like I'm being asked to grade you on the egregiousness of your trauma. Does that make sense?
So you're telling me not to do this?
Well, now that you've started and with the deadline coming up.
Yeah, but it's not really allowed.
Well.
But see, because my therapist thought it might be good for me to write about it, so I thought...
No, that's right. That's probably true. It's not... Well, are you sure it's the kind of thing you want to write about for a grade?
Yes.
Okay. So, I guess,
So yeah, I mean, seriously, tell me what you think of the writing.
okay. The I think the opening scene, the scene in the alleyway, is extremely well rendered. I mean, I talked in class a little bit about how the best way to start one of these essays sometimes is just to drop us in the middle of the first scene. So,
Yeah, so I tried to do that.
well, it works here. It really works. Some of the imagery is a little bit cliched and repetitive. I mean, I'm not sure you need to refer to both childhood and innocence being ripped away, but you do a good job of repeatedly dropping us into new places. The way you open up the section about Dale. And at the moment, it's mainly just a series of scenes, which is great. I mean, the hardest thing to get students to do with this essay is to even understand what it is that I mean by scene. So
No, I think I really got that.
you definitely did. But what's missing here so far is, I guess, analysis and reflection. I mean, the part where you unpack the meaning of the scene a little, show us yourself thinking to arrive at some sort of, I mean, the only sort of movement towards that in this early part of the essay is that standalone sentence. I developed low self-esteem and a tendency towards abusive men. But that sort of bald statement of fact feels sort of clunky in the context of the rest of this writing. You're better off probably just showing us with other scenes some of the effects, which I mean, you do, in a way. The fact that you developed that tendency is clear just from going straight to the next scene, the one with Dale. Mm-hmm. Oh, also, that sentence is kind of grammatically suspect anyway. I'm not sure tendency towards abusive men is the right way to phrase it. Maybe tendency towards dating abusive men, or attraction to abusive men, or something.
So what's missing is analysis and reflection.
Yeah, which on balance tends to be weighted more towards the end of the essay. So as you finish it, maybe you would have begun to have more of that in there anyway?
Yeah, I mean, as I sort of get towards the end of the essay, I was planning to get more clear about what my idea is.
Right. I mean, that's the work of writing an essay. And yeah, that's basically exactly what I'm talking about. So you're on the right track, looks like.
Okay.
But so what's your idea?
Oh, hope.
Oh.
I mean, is that wrong?
Well, hope isn't really an idea. It's a word. What about hope?
I guess that in the face of these things, I have to have hope. I mean, that's what I can change it if you...
No. Don't change your idea. Just make sure your idea is earned. That is really what arises organically from the scenes of experience that you're showing us.
Okay. Is that all?
So what would you give it right now?
What do you mean?
I mean, if you had to grade it right now, what would you give it?
Well, okay, that's interesting, Reza, but I don't have to grade it right now.
Yeah, but if you had to ballpark it for me at the place it is right now.
Okay, B, maybe B plus.
Really?
Yeah.
You serious?
Yeah, look, how much of your conference time do you want to spend on this conversation?
No, because I feel like it pretty much does everything you asked for.
Well, in a sort of straightforward workmanlike fashion, yeah, it hits all the points on the assignment sheet, yes.
So how's it only a B plus?
Well, a B, probably.
Okay, first of all, that doesn't sound very scientific.
It's not scientific, Reza. And I grade all the essays together, and the grades sort of inform each other based on where each essay falls in the spectrum of what the class as a whole was able to produce. And I take that into account as a measure of how well I managed to convey what I needed to convey as a teacher. So it's basically impossible for me to tell what this would get exactly. But yes, my gut feeling is right now B, but it's a rough draft.
Just tell me what to change. Like, what parts should be
I
different?
can't tell you what. I can speak more generally about what I think the problems are overall.
Okay, and if I fix those?
What?
I mean, as a premise and an idea, do you think it has the potential to be bumped up to, say, an A minus?
Okay, you should know that I find this attitude kind of unappealing.
What?
The one where, you want to know exactly what you need to change and exactly what to change it to in order to get an A. First of all, because it won't work, I can't just hand you a way to fix your essay, but mainly it's just sort of a turnoff as an attitude.
Okay, but you should take into account the fact that it's not like some weird thing that I'm worrying about for no reason. I have a scholarship to be in the business school, which means I get to go here for free, which is the only way I really can go here. But if my GPA drops below an A minus for a semester, then I lose the scholarship. And I think it would be pretty effing tragic, excuse me, if I had to leave school because I got a B plus on a 5-page essay for a class that has nothing to do really with why I'm here, but that I'm required to take.
Well, you know what? All I can do is I can tell you what I think the problems are right now, and the rest is up to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you think the problems are right now?
The biggest one I see is this last sort of leap of logic you make from the final scene you've got in here to your last sort of reflective paragraph.
What do you mean?
Okay, like here, where you've just written what I think is a pretty good scene about this fight you had with your father and how, he expects you to be exactly like he was when he was a teenager in India, and how, he doesn't understand the cultural differences that sort of surround you growing up here. And it's as though he doesn't realize that all his hard work earned me a new starting point. In his mind, if I falter even for a moment, I'll somehow be back where he was on the banks of the Ganges, bathing and drinking in the same water, which is, by the way, a really well-articulated thought and image.
Thanks.
Well, anyway, the essay is full of scenes like this, of your father, him pushing you more than necessary or in what you feel are the wrong directions, and this sort of heartbreaking story about the poetry workshop he wouldn't let you take in high school.
Right.
And then your conclusion is sort of all about how you come to school here to make him proud and do what he knows is best for you. And I mean, well, is the ending supposed to be ironic?
What do you mean?
In my reading of it, the whole essay seems to be building towards a moment of individuation, of you doing what you know is right for you, even though he, your father, thinks it's wrong. And then that doesn't happen. Which maybe it hasn't. But there's no acknowledgement in the essay, at all, that might be disappointing, or frustrating, or a defeat for you. Suddenly pulls this very suspect 180. Like you flirt with what you really want to say for 4 pages and then back off it.
Uh-huh. Well, so if I change that, if I make the last paragraph about... Well, what?
You tell me.
That maybe that while he was supporting me and putting a roof over my head and everything, it was maybe hard to but now that I worked hard and got this scholarship, I can maybe
What?
do what I want.
Maybe.
But that's a pretty Western point of view. I mean, just go against him like that. I mean, culturally, it's kind of just not done.
Well, then maybe include something about that.
And if I change that for my final draft, then I've got my A minus.
Reza? Yeah. Probably. Yes.
Can I just say something before I read it?
Well, I don't really like to let people preface with like apologia or
No, about you.
What?
You look exhausted.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Am I your last one?
yeah, long day.
How many did you do?
Today, like 19, I guess, so 11 more tomorrow.
At 15 minutes a pop?
Well, yeah.
So you've been on here for like 5 hours straight.
I take little breaks, and I took a lunch break, so more like 6 or 7 hours, actually.
This is a really hard job.
No, it's not. I mean, beats paying tuition.
You're in grad school here, right?
Yeah.
How long have you been doing this?
Well, a few. This is my first semester teaching.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty nervous about it, actually. How am I doing?
You're doing just fine.
You know, I've been meaning to ask you, why did you decide to come back to school? After all this...
After these many, many, many long years?
No,
I'm teasing you.
Yeah, I'm not used to that in this context.
Well, it's kind of what I wrote my essay about.
What is?
Why I came back. So maybe I should just...
Definitely. We've wasted more than enough time.
Yeah, you could fall asleep any moment.
Exactly.
Okay. When my first child, my firstborn son, left home, I was filled with not sadness, not pride, but pure abject panic. Off he went down the front walk to the car with my husband, slinging his suitcases into the trunk, ready for the long drive off to school. He looked happy, excited, and all I could think was, you haven't taught him anything. The engine roared to life, and off he went, down the street, speeding away, far, far faster than I could even run, and I was nevertheless possessed, suddenly, by a desire to sprint after him, to shout at the receding windshield everything I'd forgotten to say for his first 18 years, every lesson I wasn't sure he'd learned, every hurt he had in store, as though by hearing about them in advance, they'd hurt less. He did a U-turn at the end of the block. Was he coming home? No. College was in the other direction. He sped by, shouting something inaudible through the half-rolled-down driver's side window. He sped by at 30 miles an hour, and anything I shouted would have been lost in the wind and the roar, and I couldn't help feeling it had always been this way. When my second child, my only daughter, went off to school, I was calmer. But not because I was confident that I'd prepared her, and not because I was confident that she was prepared. I just knew enough to know anything I'd said while she grew up was shouted in the wind as she sped by. I had her only for a moment. What more could I have done? She was going farther away than my son. She didn't drive, she flew. And as I watched her pass through security and into the concourse beyond, she looked like a little girl. She receded from view down the hall, and it was as though my mind was trying to hurtle her backwards in time, or no, as though seeing her leave all that was familiar, watching her start over made her seem smaller, younger, as small and young as she truly was. After that, I'm sorry. Are you okay?
It's fine. Go on, keep going.
Wow, you are tired.
Yeah, I guess I am. Jesus, I'm sorry.
We could reschedule this for tomorrow.
No. Yes, I guess. Yeah, maybe that's a good idea.
That is, if you don't mind doing 12 instead of 11.
It's better than 19.
Right.
Oh.
How is it so far?
Are you serious? It's good. It's really good. But you said it was about why you came back.
Oh, it is.
I didn't see that yet, I guess.
Well, didn't you say in class that a really good idea is one that maybe your reader sets it down and goes on with their day, and then hours later they make some connection, and then later they make another connection, and it just keeps deepening and deepening later on?
I said that. Yeah. It's the kind of thing you say and your students look at you like you're insane and then forget you said it.
I didn't.
Yeah. Oh, God. I'm sorry.
It's fine.
I am so sorry. This is the weirdest conference ever.
Hey,
What?
it's going to be okay.
I know.
It's really going to be okay.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.